she's got is me. She's coming home. You started this. I'll end it. I'm gonna tear you apart.
First Rambo was 1982, 37 years ago. So if somebody had said to you in 1982, it's going to be one of the longest running franchises in history, what would your reaction have been?
Impossible, because no one even wanted the first one. I was the 11th choice, and I basically had to do a song and dance to get a distributor.
Yeah.
So it was always a very remote character, an isolated character, kind of like what he was. So the fact that we're here today, it's a modern miracle, cinematic miracle.
Did anybody ever tell you, because you said so many actors turned down the role, has anybody ever come to you, there's always like the famous, I wish I hadn't turned that down. Who came to you and said, I wish I never turned down Rambo?
Well, it was, actually, it was the director, and no, everyone else is kind of like, actors will go, I didn't want it anyway, or I would have done it better. Actually, one actor came up to me, I think it was John Savage or something like that, and he was, or the fellow from Midnight Run, he goes, I would have played it naked.
Oh my gosh.
Run, really?
That would have been a different type of film.
That's what the story I heard, that he wanted to play
Wow.
it, which is not weird.
It's not a terrible idea.
No, seriously. Those branches are bad. The thing is, the character was so savage in the beginning,
right,
that he was naked.
So it makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't like I was being like making fun of him. He was as primitive and feral as you get.
Right.
And that's why he had to be killed.
Speaking of savage, you put on your Instagram recently John's man cave, because you have quite an elaborate man cave in this film. I know you live with a lot of women. Do you have a man cave? And where do you go when you need to have that time?
Well, my man cave has been invaded by female bear caves. So I thought I had one. So now all I have is my office, which is kind of like the ego room. Because every now and then, so much memorabilia, and I put it around the house. She goes, everything's about you. I go, so?
I think your daughter said that.
Yeah. So everything's been shoved in my office. So you go in there, and it's actually overload on bobbleheads.
The Oscars are there.
Everything is there.
Everything.
So, everything.
That's the place you go. If I'm talking about, when you're talking about nostalgia and everything that's in your office, because I think you posted something recently too, it was your greatest hits, but it was kind of a spoof. What is your greatest hit? What do you think your greatest hit is? Film-wise, a moment, a scene, a character?
Oh boy, some of my losers have, like Fist, I thought was a really good film. I thought that Nighthawks is a great movie. And eventually I think they're gonna make it now as a series. That bothered me. I thought Copland
was wonderful.
should have deserved a better fate. But they released it during the summer, and I thought it's really not a summer movie. But yeah. And I love working with Kurt Russell. That was a favorite.
Well, I was going to ask you, because you've now brought us Rambo back after almost, or a little over 10 years. You gave us Rocky recently. Congratulations on all your awards with Creed. Is there another character that you would like to bring back? I vote for either Over the Top, Tango and Cash.
Lincoln Hawk. Yeah.
I loved that movie. Is there a character you'd like to bring back?
Well, if you're going to do it, I'm talking with Robert Rodriguez right now, I hope he doesn't mind, about Cobra.
Wow.
Which looks like that can happen as a series. It's basically his baby now.
Right.
I would do Tango and Cash in a second, because I know with Kurt, it's not about really a caper, it's just us.
Fun.
That thing.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't know, Sly. We're looking at, there we are in our prime, and now we're like in our unprime, and I don't know. I said, Kurt,
you're legends.
That's not what I'm telling you. You got it going on. But he goes, well, I'll talk to you when I get back.
You did Guardians, and I know James has said he wants you back for Guardians, like a bigger role. Is that going to happen, or?
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
James is a man of his word, so whatever he wants. I love James, so if he wants to do it, yeah, it'd be great. I've lived in a world of death. I've watched people I've loved die. Some fast with a bullet, some not enough left to bury.
for both of you, even though this is an action movie and Sly is known for action movies, for the both of you it was very dramatic material. And Sly was just sort of telling me that it was one of those movies that he's like, how far do we go? How far do we push things? And I think you really went there. So if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I feel like this Rambo, all the previous Rambos have been about war, but I feel like this one is a little more intimate because it does touch on family. He's never had a family before, and this is the first time he gets to go back home to his ranch, live a simple life, and then boom, I end up rebelling and going to Mexico, and the war starts again. You know, he has to go and protect his family. So. And I do love that it sheds light on the sex trafficking. Although Rambo isn't all about it, it sheds light on it, and I feel like that was super important because it's a big problem in America, everywhere, actually.
Yes, and this film, the opportunity to the audience to see a human being, it's unique.
Yeah.
Because it's not only an action figure, an action icon, the audience can see the human being with a age, with a broken soul, and I think the audience can embrace.
And I think that's
hero.
why people love Sylvester Stallone, is because,
yes.
Well, one thing that was nice about this is, like you said, you don't often see him talking a lot in films, and this was the most dialogue he's ever had in a Rambo film.
Yeah.
And so for the two of you, because you two had the bulk of your scenes with him, having that conversation, what was the first moment like? Was it kind of like, oh my gosh, it's a legend, it's Sly?
Well, my first moment was actually an action scene. You saw the movie, right?
Yeah.
So when he goes and picks me up to save me.
Oh my gosh,
and I was
that
like,
was the first scene.
Yeah, that was my first scene.
Okay.
So I was really, I was really nervous, but I was glad it was an action scene because I was able to see him and just get used to him and his aura and just how he was and talk to him more, because I was really nervous at first. I mean, this is a big franchise, and you know, he's Rocky and Rambo, so I'm glad the action stuff happened first, but he definitely had my back and wanted me to do my best work, so he laid it out there like, you know, I'm your friend, we are good, yeah.
Nice.
My first scene was when he is with a horse, and I saw, oh my God, he's not only an action and this kind of icon and actor, he's a wonderful rider with the horse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, really good writer.
And it was a beautiful time. Obviously, I was excited.
Yeah.
Because I will acting with Sylvester Stallone, and for the first time, we connect at the beginning. It was easy and beautiful.
Yeah. Favorite movie of his? Because I know his daughters were asked what their favorite, and they said Creed. And I think it's funny because it's more of like for a younger generation.
Yeah.
If you have a favorite,
Copland.
He said that was one of his
He's
proudest
fantastic in
moments.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really, really love Rocky 1. He talks so much about it. I mean, it's funny because I watched it on the plane ride there when I was about to film, and then I brought it up to him, and he gave me so much details about behind the scenes. I don't know if you remember that one scene where he was on the roller rink with Adrian,
Yeah, of
and
course.
he popped his finger out, and then he popped it back in. That was actually real. There's so many details. I was like, what? So I love Rocky 1.
And last question, I know he has a man cave in this, and you know how guys like have their man cave? So I'm gonna ask you ladies, when you need to escape the business and that, where's your place that you go?
I like to, I don't know, that's kind of tough because I have so many places. Like I live right next to the beach, so I like to go to the beach. I like to hike a little bit, or I like to go to WeWork. That's a really nice place.
It's very LA.
Yeah.
Mountains. I like mountains. I love cold because I born in a cold place, and trees. I love wood.
I want them to know that death is coming.
So now we have the family all together.
Yeah.
Was this what it was like? There's a lot of joking around. Did I hear something about a secret handshake?
No, I was just,
If it was like this, Rambo would have hung himself. We get along great, but obviously this is kind of a testament to acting because you turn it on when you have to, and afterwards people are like funny.
This is the way it is, and usually in dramatic films, people say it's the funniest on set. So there's a line in the movie, there's a time that you two are having this conversation where you say, I don't know what I want to do. And you say, as John Rambo, I always wanted to be a soldier.
Right.
So I wanted to ask the three of you, is this always what you wanted to do?
¿Esto era siempre lo que querías hacer? ¿Ser actriz?
No.
Really?
No, really. No. I wanted to do a ballerina all my life, but I cannot. And by
So did I. This is unbelievable. Wow.
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Well, dancing together. But you know, I never can. I never could. And then I have to. Tuve que tomar una clase específica y solo era basketball, teatro. Y dije, well, theater.
She had to take a specific class, theater, basketball.
When
Theater
I was
or
a young
basketball?
girl. Yeah, I don't like basketball. Yeah.
I want to come back as you. Wow.
And then I discovered theater at my 16th, you know? And I was really happy because I know this is my place. Yeah.
Feels right.
I wanted to train horses, man. You know, that was it, and that's why I've tried to put it in as much as possible.
You did,
Yeah, I love them. I just that was my calling. And I said, and I actually auditioned for a play to get out of doing sports, believe it or not. And I got the part, and I said, it's not bad. And that was the beginning. But no, it wasn't. I'm not one of these people that wake up at 2.5 hours old and go, I'm going to be an actress, you know, before they even learn to feed. No.
Wow, but you didn't want to do sports, but you're the biggest action hero of all time.
Go figure.
Go figure. Go figure. What about you?
I actually wanted to be a veterinarian and then an interior designer, marine biologist, but then I decided acting. I at first started doing special effects because I felt scared to be an actress. I felt like, it's 1 in a million. I was actually told it was easier to win the lottery than to be an actress, so I believed them. But now I'm glad I listened to
You
myself.
left out astronaut too.
So how did the casting process? Were you a part of the casting process?
yeah, very much.
How did it all come about, and how did you both find
Well,
out?
of course, when she was cast, it's like it's a no-brainer. You know, it was like that. We're lucky to get her.
Yes.
Thank you.
The young girl, Gabrielle was hard, and there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people because there's an essence, physically, how does it look, and then, you know, can she play the right age, and then also be able to really bring it up, cry, and to bring emotion, and you know, she got it.
Yeah, well, for me, I had to go through a process. It was 3 steps. So I did the casting director with Carla Hull, and then I met with Adrian via Skype, and then I did an in-person test with Sylvester Stallone.
Right.
No
yeah, it was
pressure.
me against
No
2 other girls. but it did feel pretty natural for some reason. I felt like, you know, I could tell he knew what he wanted, and I felt secure, like, okay, let's do this.
Well, you just hit it on the word. It's natural. When actors are flowing, it's a gift.
But that's something you're really well known for. It's not always about the dialogue, it's what's behind it.
Yeah, always.
Even though Rambo has more dialogue with these ladies in the film than he's ever
And all the
had.
movies
Yes.
put together.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about that sort of, why now and why was that important now?
Well, actually, the majority of the time is I'm answering questions, basically, and from her. That's why I said, you know, it's going to be kind of quiet when you leave. So, and they're like my daughters. You know, there's always questions. So I don't really have anything to say. I'm responding, and I feel that the relationship with her grandmother, Adriana, was a whole other thing. She was kind of like my mother, but not. See what I mean? She's like something I wish, maternal. You know what I mean? You know, even though I'm much older than her, I don't have, you know, that. So it was a perfect blend.
Thank you all so much. And you probably got to go method because you have so many women around you in your life.
Meth. What is that?